Every dating coach on the internet will tell you to just be confident. Honestly, that's the worst advice you can give a guy re-entering the dating scene. Here's what actually works. The real cause of the problem. You walked out of that date thinking it went fine. Then Sunday night hit. You're lying in bed, replaying every pause, every moment the conversation stalled, every text you agonized over for 20 minutes before sending something that got a one-word reply, and then nothing. Sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you. The reason you're not getting second dates has nothing to do with confidence. It's not your looks. It's not your job. It's not because you're too in your head, whatever that's supposed to mean. The real reason is simpler, and honestly, way more fixable. You're improvising. Every single date. No structure, no roadmap, just you, under pressure, trying to generate interesting conversation and manage your nerves and read her signals and figure out what to text after, all at the same time. That's not a confidence problem. That's a cognitive overload problem. And here's why everything you've tried so far hasn't fixed it. You've read the articles, 10 tips for a great first date, how to keep conversation flowing. Generic, vague, written for nobody in particular, which means they work for nobody in particular. You tried a few of those tips. Maybe they helped for 5 minutes. Then the conversation hit a wall anyway, and you were right back to improvising. Maybe you went further, tried some of the pickup stuff, lines, techniques, negging. It felt wrong the moment it came out of your mouth, because it was wrong, not for who you are, not for what you actually want. So you went the other direction, self-help, maybe even therapy. You got better at understanding why you get anxious. Real progress, honestly. But you still sat across from her with zero idea what to say when the conversation stalled at the 20-minute mark. And the worst part? You kept going on dates anyway, hoping that more reps would eventually fix it. That experience would accumulate into skill. It didn't. Because trial and error without a feedback loop doesn't build skill. It just repeats the same mistakes with a different person across the table. Here's what's actually happening. When you have no conversation framework loaded, no topic flow, no recovery move, no plan for the close, your brain tries to do two things at once: manage the anxiety and generate what to say next. It can't do both well, so it does neither. That's the blank out. That's the awkward silence. That's the moment her eyes drift to her phone and something shifts. It's not you. It's the absence of a system. And the post-date text? That's where most men lose her completely. Not because the date went badly, but because they're guessing. Too fast and you look desperate. Too slow and the window closes. Too vague and she moves on. There's no just wing it that works here. The result is a loop. First date, fizzle. Sunday night replay. First date, fizzle. Sunday night replay. Every time, a little more confidence gone. A little more of that quiet voice saying, maybe the problem is just me. It's not. The problem is that nobody ever handed you the full playbook. Not the tips, not the tactics, not the mindset reframe. The actual, complete, step-by-step system from the first words out of your mouth to the text that locks in date 2. Until now. Before we go any further, I need to be honest with you. I'm not a dating coach. I don't have a psychology degree. I'm just a guy who used to be terrible at first dates. I'd sit across from someone I liked, and my mind would go completely blank. The conversation would stall, and I had no idea how to bring it back. After every date, I'd replay the awkward moments in my head, wondering if the problem was just me. So I tried everything: dating blogs, Reddit advice, even some pickup tactics that felt fake the moment I used them. Nothing worked. So instead of looking for more tips, I started looking at real research on human conversation and social connection. And what I found changed everything. Studies showed that connection between strangers doesn't come from charm or confidence, it comes from structure. When a conversation follows the right progression, people naturally feel closer. And that also explains something else. That blank mind moment on dates, it's not a personality flaw, It's cognitive overload. Your brain is trying to manage anxiety and invent conversation at the same time, so it freezes. That's when it clicked for me. I wasn't bad at dating. I was just improvising in a high-pressure situation with no structure. So I built a simple framework for conversations. And the results started showing up almost immediately, not because of me, but because the system actually worked. So here's something I want you to think about for a moment. What if the reason your dates keep stalling isn't about who you are, but the fact that you've been improvising in a situation where connection actually needs structure? Imagine walking into your next first date knowing exactly how to move the conversation forward, how to recover if things get awkward, and what to text later that night. And instead of silence, you actually get a reply that leads somewhere real. That's why I created the First Date Conversation Blueprint, a step-by-step conversation system designed for men who are tired of first dates that lead nowhere. This isn't another list of random dating tips. It's not pickup lines, and it's definitely not the usual just be confident advice. It's a complete system, from the first words you say all the way to the text that leads to a second date. And it focuses on one clear outcome, a confirmed second date. Here's what makes it different. Most dating advice gives you isolated pieces, a conversation tip here, a texting trick there. But real connection happens across the entire arc of the date. That's what this blueprint gives you, a clear framework for how the conversation flows, how to handle awkward moments, and how to follow up afterward. Inside the system, you'll find a conversation framework that shows you how to move naturally from small talk into real connection, a topic flow guide so you never run out of things to talk about, a recovery checklist for those moments when the conversation stalls, and a follow-up roadmap that shows you exactly how to text after the date without guessing. So instead of hoping the date goes well, you walk in knowing exactly how to guide the interaction. The conversation flows, the pressure disappears, and instead of replaying the date in your head later, you're planning the second one. Because once you stop improvising and start using a system, dating becomes a lot simpler. So at this point, you really only have 3 options. Option 1, do nothing. Keep going on first dates the way you always have, improvising, hoping the conversation flows, hoping the follow-up text works, and maybe the next one will be different. But deep down, you already know how that usually ends. Another date that felt promising, another conversation that slowly stalled, another message that goes unanswered. Option 2, try to figure it out yourself. More dating blogs, more random advice online, more trial and error on real dates with real women you actually like. But you've probably already tried that, and scattered tips without a full system rarely change the outcome. Because dating isn't one moment, it's a sequence, the conversation, the connection, the close, and the follow-up. If one of those breaks, the whole thing falls apart. Which brings you to option 3. Use a system that actually shows you how the entire interaction works. That's exactly why I built the First Date Conversation Blueprint, a complete framework designed to guide you through the entire process, from the moment the date begins to the message that leads to the second one. You'll know how to move the conversation forward naturally, how to recover when things get awkward, and how to follow up afterward without guessing. So instead of hoping the date goes well, you walk in with a plan. The entire system costs $49, less than most first dates that lead nowhere. And if you go through it, use it on a real date, and still don't get a second date within 14 days, you get your money back. No hoops, no questions. So the real question isn't whether this works. The real question is whether you're ready to stop guessing and start approaching your next date with a system. If you are, click the button below and get instant access to the First Date Conversation Blueprint. Because the next first date you go on shouldn't feel like a gamble. It should feel like a plan.